why, as a filmmaker and a storyteller, I built an AI tool to help create worlds, even though I'm not a developer.
Hello, everybody. My name is Doc, and I am the creator of Realmweaver. And I'm going to make a series of videos to just walk you guys through, let you know what Realmweaver is, how you can use it, who I am, and why I built this product. So I'll just start with who I am. So I have been a world builder for I've been a filmmaker for like 13 years, documentary work, all this stuff, and I got into world building about 5 years ago. Have a project I've been working on for a long time. It's got a screenplay, it's got a comic, and creating the game right now. And what I ended up doing was I built this product just as a tool. I originally started as just wanting to build an AI product that would check consistency throughout my whole world, because that was one thing I wanted to always check. You can't always get a friend to read like your hundreds of pages of documents. So I just want a consistency checker. And what I ended up doing was building this whole platform. And now I'll tell you what Realmweaver is and what it's not. So it is a platform with AI creative tools and workshops to help you build out your world. Um, and first I'll say what it's not. So this is not an AI tool to write your story. I think as creatives, as video game devs, TTRPG writers, we're all hesitant as creatives of AI, right? Because we do call it AI slop for a reason. So if you go to ChatGPT, you're going to say, I have an idea for a fantasy world. My main character is called this, and I want to build this. And then ChatGPT is going to probably put out a very generic prompt or a response, and it's just going to give you something very generic, right? And then even if you went through ChatGPT and you built your whole world, let's say just somehow you did it and you enjoyed it, it came out well, you're going to have a huge chat history with no organization at all. So in comparison, what Realmweaver is, it's not to take away from creatives. It's not to write for creatives. It's to empower you as a creative. Maybe you're a solo dev. Maybe you're creating a tabletop RPG. Or maybe you're just building a world that you always had in your head for fun as a hobby. And maybe you want to write a novel or maybe make it a movie. So what RA is it's trained to be like a story development team or an editor or a coach. So you don't go into it and say, write me this. What you do is you click on sessions, and those sessions can be about the world foundation, character deep dives, locations, artifacts, factions, politics, religion, whatever it is you want to build out in your world. This is going to empower you to do that. So it's trained to ask you questions like a story development team. Example of both. It's going to ask you why he threw it into the river. That tension tells me more about him than any backstory. What's his real reason? So it gets you to answer questions maybe you didn't think about. Maybe you have the premise. Maybe you have a story. Maybe you have an idea of the character background. This is going to help you jump into your character, ask you questions why, ask you what the fears are, ask you what he's most afraid of or she's most afraid of or whatever it is. It's to dive in deeper. So what I've created is not something that creates AI slop. It's just a tool to empower creatives like yourself. It felt like sitting in a coffee shop with someone who genuinely wanted to hear about my story. And this is the whole premise and the reason why I made this. You know, like Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, they had the inklings, they had a community, they got together, they had a pint of beer, they talked about writing structure, they brought out their writings, did live readings, gave feedback, critical thinking, talked about mythology, talked about deep literature, right? All this stuff. And so the tool I built is like nowadays, most of us are always building alone, right? A lot of you are at home, you have a game idea, maybe you're a really good dev, you're building the game, but you have a hard time with story. And it's better. We should all be in community. I hope you guys do have community. I have some community, but at the same time, everyone has a life, everyone has work. It's getting harder just to be creative in general. So not everyone can sit down and read a 10-page character entry or whatever you've created. It's really hard to get critical feedback that's helpful. It's really hard for people just to sit down and take an hour, 2 hours with you to kind of develop your world or your characters. So a lot of us are just working alone. So I've made this tool specifically for you. It asks you the questions. It does push back. It doesn't just give you the chatbot response like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. It's actually gonna challenge you, but based off like facts and history and English structure and story structure. And I'm really excited with what I built, and I think it's actually something that is really going to empower creatives. So all your IP is 100% yours. We do not train other AI bots on your information, on your story. You keep it, it's secure, it's your own. You can delete anything in your whole account at any moment, and we won't store anything. Like I said, we're not one of the sneaky tech companies trying to take your stuff and use it and do any of this stuff. You own 100% of it. And I honestly just wanted to build a tool that I could have used 4 years ago building my world. So when you have enough entries and you want to export it, you're going to be able to export a whole world Bible with a glossary and everything. It could be hundreds of pages what you create, and it will export it looking like this in a really well organized PDF. You can export in Markdown and all kinds of different stuffs. Really important thing, if you have a world, if you already have created uh, a bunch of documents, let's say you have 40 Google Docs or Notion or wherever you're building on currently, or even World Anvil, you're going to be able to import these docs. And the AI that we designed is very smart and structured for story. What it does, it's going to take every character, all your stuff that you've already written. It's not going to change one word of your writing. It's going to then organize it into our wiki. And you're going to be able to manually select stuff. Let's say there's certain ones that it didn't categorize well. You're going to be able to unselect those. Or there's ones that also gives you probability, like this is 100% correct. We have everything we need for our wiki entry from your documents, and that will be green. And then there'll be some where it said this one we can submit, but you should also run another session on. So you can import your whole world, and then from that whole world that you've imported, you can then do consistency checks. So that brings us to our next thing of what we actually offer. You get guided creative sessions, a living wiki, which has auto structured, it's auto linked. You can import your world, you can export everything. And another thing, what I said is a consistency checker. So you can use a consistency checker, which will check all your entries, your whole world, your whole wiki, and it will tell you if there's contradicting evidence for certain characters, or if something's not making sense, which you never clarified. It's going to give you these tips to make your world more authentic, right? It could also have a feature, which I'm going to show you in another video, which is a public wiki page. So if you're a solo creator, let's say you even have a community, a small Discord community for the story you're building or the game you're building, or you just want to share with family and friends, from your wiki, from your world, you'll be able to click the world page, public page, and we have a really nice design, and then it's going to be able to show everything publicly. You can add photos, you can add all this stuff to really make your world feel complete. So yeah, that's it. I hope that some of you will try this out. I know that some of us get really put off by AI, but it's not what you think. It's just using AI to be a really helpful tool and really help you dive into your world. So yeah, I'm going to jump into the next video. I'm going to run a full-length session, and I'm going to show you how everything works. All right, until next time, guys.